You said something in that grocery store there that I've never thought about in my entire life. You were looking at Ziploc bags.
Yes.
And you're looking straight ahead at about eye height for me. And then I started to walk away thinking you had picked out the correct bag that you wanted out of the like 50 kinds of bags they have.
Right.
Which seems like overkill. And then you said, oh, weird. The further above eye level I go looking for these bags, the cheaper they get.
Correct.
And then I looked at the prices, and you were right. It was cheaper as it went up. And I've never thought about that before. It makes you think about all the other little tricks that people are playing on you.
Yeah.
Where you think you're super smart and you know everything.
Yes.
And advertising and manipulation doesn't work. But then little things like that happen, and it reminds me that I am a sucker and it does work. What works on you?
Oh, I know exactly what works on me. If you run a short video of somebody using woodworking tools, I'm in.
Like wood perfectly curling off of a...
Oh, there's a company.
Oh, what is it? A hand planer.
Yeah. There's a company called Woodpeckers Tools. They're made in the USA, and they show them making the tools with CNC machines, and then they show people using the woodworking tools. So I get to see CNC machines and woodworking tools being used in the same video, and I have never purchased a product from Woodpeckers Tools, but I want everything they have.
Will you purchase something from there?
Yeah, that's a good point. So I guess technically it hasn't worked on me.
I was gonna say, it sounds like not working.
I'm consuming it as content, but it
sounds like the guy who goes to the old school newsstand and reads the newspaper while you stand there, and then you put it right back on the newsstand. Thanks, man. Yeah, you'll get to it someday.
Yeah, I don't know.
What's the last thing that made you buy something?
Shoot. I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh, I know exactly what it was.
Go.
There's this tool. I watched a YouTube ad and I immediately bought the tool, and I said, okay, you got me. I said that aloud, alone at the computer. And it is this tool. I'll show it to you. It's called like a life tube or something. So I've got two fears being a dad. One is a child choking.
Oh, yeah, I saw that happen once.
Choking on food.
Yeah.
And another one is accidentally hitting my own family member in the driveway. Those are my two fears. Yeah, those are scary things.
I have no comment other than affirmed.
Yeah. So, there's an ad. I was watching a YouTube video, and it started by someone going, "Please help me." And it was a mom, and she picks up her baby and starts trying to like slam it on its back, and it's not working. And everybody goes over to the baby to try to save it. It's choking, and nothing's working. And then the video pauses, and a narrator comes on and says, "You'll notice everyone is walking to the child and trying to help, but watch this man." And it's like surveillance footage, and this
fake surveillance footage.
No, it's real. It's a real like surveillance footage of a restaurant or something.
Okay.
This dude looks like a prepper, gets up, and he starts walking with purpose to the door. He walks back in the restaurant with a little yellow pouch. He sets it down, unzips it, puts one of those masks things, the breathing mask things, on top of the child.
Yes.
And operates what looks like a plunger. He goes, foom, foom. And I was like, oh, that would totally work. Because...
So he dislodged the partially chewed hot dog?
With a vacuum, instead of adding pressure to the abdomen. And it was like life. I forget the name of the product. I'll show it to you in just a second.
The Foomper?
I don't know what it was, but
I
bought that thing. And I bought two. I bought one for each car. And I was like, I want to be the portly man that walks to my truck. Granted,
you have not used it at this point.
My truck is so messy you can never. Yeah, but I thought in that moment, I was like, if I don't buy this product, the stakes are so high that if I don't buy this product, then I will remember for the rest of my life the moment I saw this ad and I didn't take action.
Oh, that's a good ad.
Oh, it worked on me, dude.
Yep. Wow.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, to use the old saying, God forbid that would ever actually happen.
Yeah.
But then if you knew, if I'd spent $19.99 plus shipping and handling. That
I
kid wouldn't
could've
be
saved
choking
that
to
kid.
death right
Yeah.
now.
Okay, let's go get on mics. I'm gonna go find this thing and show it to you.
Oh, you have it here? You can find it in your truck?
Maybe. Let's see.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, this is my worst nightmare.
It's dirty.
Dude, no, don't. You're going to smash that food in there, and it's
make
going to be
fun
in
of
your
me.
seat. I'm not making fun of you. I'm
Look at this.
criticizing you.
Look at this right here. The Life. What's it called?
Life.
I bet it's called Life Vent. I don't even know.
Oh, that's pretty good. I can see that.
Life Vac.
Vac.
Life Vac. Look at that. It's got a little plunger.
It looks like the kind of thing you would use to store breast milk.
It does.
It might work for that too.
A video made me buy this.
Can I see the instructions?
Well, I don't know if. Well, I guess.
If you open it, does it only work once?
I don't know. So I've never. This is the first time I've opened it. Oh, look! It's for a kid.
Yes.
This is an adult. Oh, see, that's in a package. I don't want to open that.
I'd consider choking on a hot dog so you can practice. I
Okay, so
trust you.
You push this in,
All right.
and then you put the mask on, and then you. Let me see, I'm gonna put this to my mouth and see if it.
You blow on it? It looks like a hand pump, man.
Let's see if it can suck air in my nose. Huh?
Oh my goodness. Are you... Holy crap. Like the last time I saw the life go out of your eyes was when they took the oxygen away in the deprivation tank.
That's cool. Okay. Cool, I have that. It's a thing I have. And,
Oh, wait.
What?
So this plunger goes on the mask,
and you put it on somebody's face.
Got
and
it.
You plunge their face.
and it's just one quick pump, and there it goes. It is
Oh,
a
yeah.
face plunger. Look at that.
Per the video.
Yeah, which
That's exactly how it works.
surveillance footage you said.
Yeah. You want to head back and get on mics and finish this, whatever it is you're
Yes, I
leading me
do.
into here?
Yes, I do.
All right, here we go. All right, starting. This one's going. Is that one going?
Mm-hmm.
Rolling.
That was the last thing I was expecting to be the most recent ad that worked on you. You could have given me 10 trillion guesses. I did not have that.
Well, what was so interesting about it is I knew immediately that it worked on me. Like I knew I had been caught. You know, like you have made your argument. I guess the two reasons you want to get something, hey, this will make me feel better, or it will do away with some pain in my life. And they presented a scenario where, I don't know, it was just smart.
Let me ask you this, though. Would it have worked if the way they'd done it was a man in an outfit is against a white background, and he walks forward, and he's wearing a suit, but the top button's undone. There's no tie. Settle down. And he's like, "Hi, I'm Carl McGregor. You might remember me from a sitcom that aired for part of a season in 1991. Have you ever thought about choking? What would you do if someone you loved were choking? With the Life Vac, you'll always be like that." Would
And
that
then
have done it, or did the story do it?
And then it cuts to a black and white, like B-roll, and it's got a person sitting there, like doing the universal sign for
Yes.
choking, and they're fumbling.
Yeah.
and then they just fall on the floor.
Yeah, and the other guy's there, and he's like, he clearly would like to help, but he can't get his hose to wind up or his wallet to work properly.
What is there's a meme about the soda, like the cans from the soda. You know, the things like, have you ever tried to, and cut to scene of person fumbling over a thing and they can't do
yes.
it. Why is that a thing? I mean, that clearly works on people from the 90s when you're watching TV late at night and you're like, I think I do need a duster for the crown molding. in my house."
Dadgummit, sometimes I do try to wind up my hose and end up completely strangulating myself with it. That could happen. That's like me.
I identify with this person.
No, here's what I think happened there. I think somebody a long time ago, like in the 50s or 60s, came up with that shtick. They were young when they got the job, and it worked because maybe culturally people were way more ready to be like, "Aw, shucks, I do struggle with organizing my plates. I feel that way sometimes. What can you do for me?" And then they're like, "Well, with the plate organizer, you'll hardly ever drop a plate again." And it worked. And then that guy got seniority at the ad company, and he didn't retire until like 2001. And they gave him a watch and everything, but he kept going back to the well with the black and white footage of things not working out right. And then now that guy's finally retired, fresher, newer ideas are coming along, and we're not seeing those as much anymore. That's my theory.
I don't know where it is, dude. I have a copy of the New Yorker from the 30s or maybe the 20s. And, you know, the articles are neat and stuff, but the ads, they're so interesting.
So sexist.
Like, they are.
Just shockingly
They absolutely
misogynistic.
are. They absolutely are. And, you know, back when it was cool to smoke, and they, you know, they're like, yeah, look cooler smoking your Camels.
I smoke while pregnant to be attractive to my man. Oh, gosh.
What are we doing here? Why are you asking me about ads? What are you...
Well, okay. You and I talk a lot about the stuff that happens to shape our brains. And lately, you and I have been talking a lot about the things that other governments do intentionally to drive wedges, social media manipulation. You did the whole Smarter Every Day series on misinformation. And that is something that we look at and we rightly agree that's bad. And when I catch you trying to manipulate me to a given outcome, I don't like it because it's for political reasons. I don't know what you're doing to me. And it's deceptive enough that I don't know an ad is happening when I encounter misinformation. But there seems to be some kind of moral threshold that is crossed in the positive sense when someone announces, I know you don't want my brand new car or this special kind of dish soap, but I'm going to take the next 30 seconds, and I paid money for these 30 seconds, to persuade you to have a different state of mind and buy this dish soap instead of the dish soap you currently buy. One is a grievous manipulation. The other is still, it's a manipulation, like you're trying to get somebody to do something. It's a persuasive attempt, but it's above board. And so it's like, since we both know what's going on, it's like a dance. It's like, okay, advertiser, you get a crack at it. And I'll watch your ad. I'm sitting here. I'm not doing anything else. And I'll think that I'm above it and that because I understand the exercise here, it's not going to work. But clearly it does work sometimes. And it does make me want to go buy stuff sometimes. But how often do I associate my actual purchase with the effectiveness of that ad? And how often do I even actually stop to think about what kind of ad works on me? And so you pointed out in the grocery store a few minutes back, this manipulation that was happening. Oh, look at the way they arranged it. They did that to get my behavior to change. So I would buy this thing, and you noted it, and you outfoxed it, and you bought the thing you needed instead of the thing that was easy and more expensive. But then I asked you about an ad that worked on you, and you told me about something that, well, the jury's kind of out as to whether you actually need that or not.
Oh,
but an
I
ad
need it.
worked on you.
Dude,
and
I need that.
And you bought the Life Vac.
Dude, I feel so much more comfortable now that I have the Life Vac.
Okay. You know, if it was the kind of place where, if you get to a place someday where I'm like, dude, do you have the Life Vac? And you answer, am I wearing pants?
Am I wearing pants?
Then I'll
I
know.
got a little holster on my belt for my Life
I
Vac.
was made for this.
Yeah, it's just like just going around like, excuse me, are you okay?
Are you choking at all?
Are you choking?
Do you think you
Like
might?
Any amount of choking.
Would you like to?
Dude, I don't know, man. It's that was the purest ad I've ever seen. Like, it was the most effective on my brain. And it's because it resonated with a fear that I have.
Okay, so it preyed on anxiety.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
I think if I'm honest, I do have anxiety about that specific thing, and I don't say that very often, but yeah, it worked. I mean, I usually feel like I'm outwitting the advertiser, and in this particular case, they just totally owned me. So okay, let's flip it around. What was the last time an ad worked on you to this level?
See, I knew you were going to ask that.
Yeah.
And in the back of my mind, I've been trying to run that so that I would be super, super ready. An ad. Okay, yeah, I got it. I was playing a stupid game on my phone to pass about 10 minutes. Somebody was late to a
Is
meeting.
this the monkeys and balloons game you always play?
No, I haven't played that game for a long time.
Okay.
It's what I use as a metaphor for wasting time on the phone.
Okay.
But I haven't had to play the monkeys and balloons game for a long time. No, right now I play a game where you match different colors of gems, and it lets you play
Bejeweled?
cards. No, it's called Puzzle Quest.
Okay.
But it has cards from Magic the Gathering. You can defeat your opponents online with a dragon card.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's fun. It's what I do.
Those ads work on you.
No, that ad didn't work. But if you watch an ad, like you get some extra cards or something. So it's like, oh, okay, I'll watch the ad. You can do it once or twice a day, and there was one available. So it's like, oh, I'll watch your ad. And then this
Wait
thing
a second.
came on.
So they've integrated ads
Yes.
into the game.
Yes.
And so if you watch the ad, you get more puzzle, whatever.
Yes.
Puzzle bullets.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's dirty.
Yeah.
And when they first started doing it, the ad would be like 15 seconds, and it's like, Hawk Falcon Quest. It's a game. Look at them play. It could be fun. You should play. You're like, okay. And then you just click the little X and you get like points or whatever. It's fine. But they're getting really sophisticated. Like hide the X, so you can't figure out how to make it go
my
away,
gosh.
and all kinds of stupid gimmicks. So now I don't want to do it anymore. But there was an ad that worked on me, and I felt sick for doing it. It was just an ad for a little game where you have little cute cartoon characters and some monsters come, and you can put them on a board. And the guy was an idiot who was playing the game. They had a cartoon finger that was playing the game. And it was like, I have to merge this with this. And I'm like, well, that's the wrong one. You're trying to merge a red one with a green one. You got to merge it with the red one. And this stupid disembodied finger keeps moving the red dot to try to merge it with the green one. Put on the red one. I want to see what... You idiot. You did that last time. It's the exact same dot. It's not the... Put it on the red one. Oh, come on. And then it's like...
So it's like the opposite of... What does it call it? Content? Oh shoot! What is it?
Like oddly satisfying.
It's the opposite of oddly satisfying content.
Yes.
Okay, it's oddly unsatisfying.
Yes.
Okay.
And then it's like, you try? And so then I moved my finger, and it looked like you could just play it right there in the ad, and it worked. I moved it, and sure enough, you want to match the red with the red, because I can do that in my brain. And so I matched it, and I was like, oh, awesome. And then it takes me the whole install screen. I'm like, I moved one dot, and I kind of want to see what it does. It's free. And I installed the dang thing. And I played it for maybe half an hour one night and then just felt sick that I had been duped by a stupid phone ad.
So it preyed on your OCD-ness, your
Yes.
obsessive compulsive disorderness.
Yes.
Clever.
Yeah. So it got you on a legitimate anxiety.
Yeah.
It got me on a sense of disharmony. The universe is out of order. Oh, just give it to me. I'll do it. Oh, just let me do the match. And both of them kind of told a story. They both got us with story.
Yeah.
Instead of just telling us, this game is fun, play this game, it has merit, you will like it. They got us with the story.
Dang. But that kid lived, though.
Well, I'm not entirely convinced that surveillance footage was real.
Dude, this guy was, the way he looked,
Makes
that's
it more
not how
relatable.
you would have wanted to look if you were. I bought two, and as I was entering my credit card information, I was like, I'm going to put one of these in my vehicle and one in my wife's vehicle, and we're always going to be ready. And as I'm buying it, I'm thinking, they got me. Here's your money.
Yeah.
But I knew where it was. I knew where it was.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that would have worked. You would have gone straight to it. I can vouch.
Okay, so how do we say this? The elephant in the room. I do ads.
The other elephant in the room, it's just smaller and more handsome. I do ads.
Yeah, yeah. On No Dumb Questions.
The elephant is more handsome. I'm not
Oh, the
in any way
elephant's-
drawing a contrast.
Yeah, I make ads on Smarter
super
Every
good
Day.
looking.
We make ads here on No Dumb Questions. And
I do some on 10-minute Bible hour.
Yeah, do you want to just briefly explain the philosophy of how we do ads here?
Yes, I think we should.
Okay. Oh, why did you hand it off to me?
Well, I'm not. That was a gesture I make sometimes to be like, and we're going to do a great job. And then I clap my hands.
Oh, shut up. Okay, so with Smarter Every Day, this is my rule. Never lie, never deceive, be real, only talk about things I genuinely like.
Okay, the first two are also your rules for friendship.
Yeah, and just life.
I'll take a swipe at what I do in terms of my ad philosophy. I want to tell the truth. I don't ever want to promote something that will make someone's life the same as it was before or worse. It's got to be betterifying in order to get a vouch. Like if it would actively hurt somebody, that's an exchange. That's an equation that is mean. And not only will that not work long term, it's just not considerate of people who listen to my stuff and we have a relationship. I don't want to wreck that. So it's got to be something that I actually like and believe in. And also, I think even the ads, it has to provide value. Why do you watch a movie? Why do you watch a TV show? Why do you listen to anything, a podcast or an audiobook? It's because it it makes your life better. It's interesting. There's some value that it provides. And I like ads that are fun or interesting or at least human. And I don't like ads that are robotic and stiff and dull. I don't like to endure that. So I want to try to make it at least kind of fun for people.
Exactly. So you could go one way and you could just make like a performance kind of thing. And that's lame. And everybody that assumes that the viewer is not intelligent or the listener's not intelligent. And I don't want to waste anybody's time. If you think about the scale, let's say Smarter Every Day, for example, a video might get 1 million views. That is an incredible amount of human life that is on the other side of the internet. That's the way I view it. And so, you know,
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
What? Pause there for a second. I've had videos that have done really well, but I think I've always felt entitled. Like, yeah, that video did well because it was a good video and that was a good use of everyone's time. But I've never run the mental equation in editing or recording where I'm like, if a lot of people watch this, that's a lot of human capital consumed on this. Is this how I want the human capital of us to be used? I should be very, very responsible with that. It's just not how I think about it. I want it to be good. I want to respect people's time, but I haven't thought about it in that way with that framing on that scale. I really appreciate that you think about that at all.
Yeah, and if you think about it that way, you can justify. So here's a problem that I will have often. Advertisers work on calendar cycles, and so they have to have a certain thing budgeted at a certain time. Long story short, what that means for me is like, hey, I need you to drop this video on this day. It comes out like that sometimes.
Yeah.
And with me, I'm sitting there working on that video, and I'm like, I'm telling the story of the James Webb Space Telescope, for example.
Sure.
This is the most awesome thing ever.
And the story of your relationship with your dad.
Well, for that video, the last video.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking about all that, and I'm like, this story, I mean, it means something to me. The animations, for example, I work with a guy that helps me animate, and he does a great job. You can justify in your head, oh, well, I need to just run this through and re-render it one more time, and I need to add shadows this time because it'll make it better.
Yes.
Because millions and millions of people will watch it. We want to make it better. So you can justify that in your head because you say, this is how many people are going to watch it. But that can also paralyze you because you spend way too much time thinking about it. It's just catch-22. So you have to meet it's a trade-off, right? You have to decide this is acceptable because I have to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so, the guy that works with me on that, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. We talk about this kind of stuff all the time. What's good enough? When are we going to punch it? And so with ads, for example, I try to be very, very careful about being able to keep my voice. And so people approach Smarter Every Day all the time, and they ask to advertise. And I turn down basically all of it because what they want is they want to associate their brand with essentially my brand.
Hopefully that's what most quality, thoughtful advertising is.
Right.
You pair up things that are good and you share the vouch.
Right. With Smarter Every Day, I value the people on the other side of the internet that have stooped down to me to actually give me their time to learn something with me. I value that exchange so much that I'm not going to play with that at all. Like, sorry, I understand you really want to work with Smarter Every Day, but I'm not going to do it because your thing is not absolutely perfect for these people that are on this journey with me. And at the same time, and you're giving me a smirk as if I'm doing advertisement right now. I'm not.
No, that's not what that smirk means at all. You want to know why I'm smirking?
Yeah.
Because this is really hard to talk about.
It's super hard to talk about.
Because it's what we do, and I think you do it with integrity. And I really respect and have taken a lot of cues on how you do advertising, how you pay your bills with all of this. I've taken a lot of those cues from you. But it almost kind of feels weird saying it into a microphone.
Yeah.
It's
there's
real.
a
vulnerability to it, but what you're saying is absolutely the truth. So that wasn't a smirk. That was me marveling.
I've seen people that make content whatever it is, a comedy skit or whatever it is, and then they do an ad, and it's very clear what's happening. Okay, this is an exchange. You made the content because of the ad, right?
Yes.
You wanted the ad money, so you made the content. I can see that when that happens.
As opposed to this content was happening and
For
the
me,
right thing came in.
For me, that's why I contacted you to begin with. First time I saw what you were doing, I was like, okay, this guy has got a fire in his bones to make this kind of content. And that's 100% what he's doing. And he's going to do it if 20 people watch, and he's going to do it if 20 million people watch.
You were right.
Right?
You're right.
And
yeah.
you were doing it for closer to the 20 number when we started.
If even.
Yeah. And you haven't changed. You've been the slow, steady drumbeat of truth with what you're doing, and I applaud you for that. That takes integrity. And you haven't let, more numbers, wreck what you do. The challenge is not losing your first love.
Yeah, you know who you're talking to, and you know what you did right there.
I know what I did right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you lose your first love and you let the prospect of advertising change what you're doing, that's when you've lost it. And so what I've done is I've tried to surround myself with people that are unimpressed with me.
Oh, you're doing a great job.
Yeah. You know
Well
what I
done,
mean?
man.
But at the same time, the metric is this person true? Do they value truth above all? And so there's several of us that end up touching a Smarter Everyday video. You'll have an illustrator somewhere, an animator somewhere, I've got a buddy that helps me edit. We've got a lot going on, and the metric is this true? And that has to be a 1.000. It has to be so pure. It can't be 99.9%. It has to be 1.0, because the moment you lose your integrity and the moment you lose your name, that's it. That's all you have. Huh. Your name is worth more than gold. And so I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
What we're talking about is advertising in general. And I really hadn't anticipated talking about how you do it when I brought it up. I think advertising's interesting. It's little stories we tell each other to motivate behavior and open our eyes to the possibility of a new loyalty or a new partnership with a new product or a new person, or to make us aware of a thing we didn't know was there. I think it's a fascinating aspect of persuasion and human interaction. But you went to the obvious place that I hadn't thought of, which is, well, we do this. Like, oh, yeah. Yeah, we do. And it's probably the most precarious place in the whole process of everything that we do for a living.
Making the podcast?
No, the advertising part. It's the highest risk for just, I don't know, being perfunctory. Just get through it, whatever. Like, this is good enough. It pays bills. But I don't know. Like, I appreciate that from the beginning. As soon as people started expressing an interest in advertising with us, one, we said no to pretty much everybody. Then when we found a few that we thought might be a good match, one of our litmus tests was, okay, but we're going to screw around. like it's going to be real dumb. Yeah. I'm probably going to mail people some sock puppets as part of this ad. Like, that's happening. Please sign up for our Patreon. You might get mayonnaise. It will be warm, and do not eat it. Like that. It's stupid, but the reason for the stupid is I just don't want it to feel pretentious and like.
You realize the biggest spike in patrons we've ever had
was for the accursed mayonnaise promotion.
Was that the mayonnaise, or
Yes.
was it for the 50-50?
We've had two spikes in the history of our Patreoning, and one was the 50-50
Yes.
with
Oh, yeah.
you get to play the game, and the other was, what did we send out with the mayonnaise?
It was pins.
Oh, it was the pins.
The Winged Hussar pins.
and I don't, a dozen, 15 people. And it wasn't a packet of mayonnaise, dude. I'm not kidding. I opened up the packets, the little bubble wrap things, and then I used my teeth to open a mayonnaise packet like from a restaurant with my other hand, and just mashed it all out in there. It's like, you were warned. You signed up for this. You put your address in Patreon. You knew you might get mayonnaise, and you got mayonnaise. And it is warm.
Well, I think that's the thing. Like, I think people just want to be respected and know that, okay, these guys get it. I get it as a listener, for example, because I know that there's an exchange going on. These guys are trying to do this. They're paying people to help them make it. They're, all the things that go into it. And they get it. There's something about breaking the fourth wall in an ad that's important. Let me tell you when advertising's bad.
Ooh, this will be fun. Yeah, let's go negative.
Well, okay, for me, with Smarter Every Day, rule number 1, never lie. Rule number 2, only talk about products I genuinely use and like. Even better if I reached out to them and I'm like, hey, I love what you do and I want to tell people about this thing.
Yes.
That's as real as it gets, right? For example, HelloFresh, right?
Yes.
So when we started, there were a couple of different you get food at home things that existed.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of companies were like, these people really want to advertise with Smarter Every Day.
Mm-hmm.
Really. And I took them to Tara and I was like, hey, these companies want to advertise with us. She said, nope. And I said, okay. The food comes to your house and you get to, she goes, nope, you're going to do HelloFresh. I said, why am I going to do HelloFresh? And she goes, because I've tested them all and it's the best one and it's the one we use. And I said, yes, ma'am. I said, I don't think they're doing ads. And she goes, well, they will eventually, and you'll say yes. And I reached out because I was like, hey, Tara wants to do HelloFresh. And they made it happen. And that's why we work with HelloFresh.
Yeah. The two most meaningful partnerships that I've had in what I do, same thing. I reached out to them. I like your thing.
Who were they? Just say it.
Tyndale. I just did a project with Tyndale. It's a publisher. They make Bibles, and I think they do a really good job. And I made a video before I worked with them where I reviewed a bunch of new Bibles. And I was like, yeah, this one's cool. This one's cool. This one's cool. Never liked this one. Don't care for this one. And it was like their flagship product. But I just honestly, I don't know. It just wasn't my favorite. And I just told the truth about what I thought. And then later I reached out to them and I'm like, I'm a little sheepish because I really do like them. And I really think we could partner up on a particular project. This how a Bible is made. I want to do like a Schoolhouse Rock video, beginning to end. How do we go from there not being a Bible to there being a Bible? And so I needed a Bible publisher. I'm like, well, I criticize their thing, but they seem really cool.
I'm just a scribe. I'm only a scribe. I'm sorry.
I'm a manuscript variant with an extra apostrophe.
That's so bad.
So
you reached out to them.
Yeah. And
they said yes.
Yeah, despite the fact that I wouldn't say harshly criticized, but just praised some of their stuff and other stuff. Been like, yeah, this one doesn't do it for me as much. They didn't need me to pretend that every single thing they'd ever made was my favorite thing that had ever been made. And I did reach out to some other companies as well, but I didn't move forward with any of it. Tyndale said yes. And I was like, yeah, roger that. This is the right partner.
Yeah, I think all that stuff's important. Got to be real, got to be true, all that stuff. Assume intelligence on the part of the third chair.
Yeah, isn't that right just in general for making anything on the internet, though? I mean, there's two strategies, right? Strategy number 1 is assume your audience is dumber than you. Strategy number 2 is assume they're smarter than you and they're just trying to brush up. And you're the one who's playing a little bit of catch up here.
Dude, do you know how... I don't know. I don't understand how some marketing people have their jobs.
All right, now we're talking about what doesn't work. This is all fair game.
I just don't understand because it's like literally all you have to do is tell the truth and be 1,000% real. That's literally all you have to do.
Well, most of them didn't go to their marketing college and get a 4-year degree where one of the classes was if a dog walks into the background of the shot during an ad and takes a giant deuce on camera, make sure to keep that. Don't shoot it again. So you're a little outside the box.
It was a really good moment.
In fairness, that dog just crapped in the middle of your ad.
It was great. I loved it.
You kept it.
Yes, I kept it because it was great.
You can't see it coming out. It's not like, it assumed the posture. I can see the turd.
It was so good. I loved it. I was like, oh yeah,
hey,
dog poop, keeping that. That's great.
You did the right thing.
It made me smile. Oh, by the way, here's a Casper mattress. I sleep on it every night.
I do too. I think we can maybe cut some of the marketing people a little bit of slack. Like they just got out of college. This is their first job. It's a great opportunity. They see something like that and they're like, okay, I don't know for sure if we want to go that route. I mean, you get taught certain things about human behavior. Not that I'm saying anybody put up resistance to that in particular, but you get taught certain things and that people work certain ways and you kind of color inside the lines. Like, I get it. That's what most people are going to default to. But it makes me respect and appreciate the geniuses who are empathetic and human and figure out how to connect on that level more.
So we've been time traveling through the old back catalog, replacing ads with Patreon ads, requests. I don't know what you want to call them. And we're in a marathon session here. The ideas are getting more desperate, I would say. Would you say that?
Are you kidding me? They're maturing. They're becoming more complex. They have plots now.
So
we're beyond
far,
just tropes. And we're into complete and total character arcs with villains and good guys.
We've been on a barge that's we had to fight off a rival barge so that we could continue feeding our emu, which apparently was our only meat supply.
Yeah, they had future jet skis that run on human waste.
We've gone to Sedna, which is a dwarf planet outside the solar system. I'm actually quite proud of what we've done here, man.
Not as nice as it looked through a telescope. Absolutely. Well, we're adding a little pepper to the back catalog.
Yeah.
It needed a little spicing up. Also,
Let's take a break.
it needed an ad purge.
We did do an ad purge. Let's take a break here and just assess what we've done. Like, do you think this
Okay.
was smart, or do you think we're wrecking the whole thing?
How are we wrecking it? No, we're not wrecking it. I don't know if it was smart either, but I don't think we wrecked it. I think at worst, it's strategically neutral.
Do you think it's compelling? Do you think people will listen to these things and say, I do want to support a brain that does this kind of material? Like, do you think people are actually going to be compelled to support at patreon.com/nodumbquestions?
That remains to be seen.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, what I know is this. I'm looking over here at my recorder that keeps tabs on how long we've been talking.
Yeah.
And it just rolled over the 1 hour mark of you and I sitting here making ridiculous messages from the future and one message from the past spots to replace expired offers and expired ad spots from the distant past in our back catalog.
Yes.
And I am sweaty from laughing after 1 hour of this. So, like, if nothing else, I feel like I got a workout in.
I suppose that is the point of the podcast itself. We are genuinely friends and we like to talk. And the fact that we turned whatever the heck this is into a fun, enjoyable thing together, that says a lot. I'm proud to be a part of that. Thank you for being my friend and for doing this.
Yeah, same thing. That really is the fun of this. We learn stuff. Hopefully we do educational stuff, and hopefully it's time well spent and fruitful. But it's fun to turn on mics and be friends together about the things that we're friends together about when there aren't microphones on, which is stuff we find interesting and stuff that's happening in our lives and in the world and stuff that stokes curiosity. And so I think it's a pretty accurate, faithful reflection of what our friendship actually is. And it's been fun to have other people be around that and be a part of it too.
Yeah. So if you'd like to support this, patreon.com/nodumbquestions. And where should we go into the next back catalog episode here? We're going to the future again? No. We're going back to the past, right?
What? Well, I don't know. We can try it. Sure. I mean, that went really badly last time we tried it, but
Let's go try something.
now we have experience.
What's bad about marketing? So, what I think is bad about marketing is when a company tries to figure out what the what it's not policy, but what like the I don't know the topic du jour is.
Yes.
And they try to. One of my favorite. I think I've already said it on here once, but one of my favorite tweets I saw was somebody goes, I don't really know how to feel about this. I'm gonna wait until my favorite mustard brand weighs in on this.
At Roomba, we support Harambe. What?
Yeah,
but do you suck up dirt? Because it's super important to me.
you know what I want? I want a Roomba that makes my floor clean. I really don't care what you think about any issue, actually. Any issue at all. That's the worst. Like when that's patronizing is what that is. When a brand comes at you and they say, "We really need you to know we think this way."
Yeah, and I usually agree with what they want me to know that they super think. Because usually it's something nice or considerate of people or whatever. But it also gives me the distinct impression
I don't always.
that if a really fashionable thing were just randomly, hitting people with rocks while they play tennis in the park, that if enough people liked it and tweeted about it sincerely, I get the impression some companies would be like, at so-and-so dish soap, we totally believe in the power of hitting strangers with rocks.
Right.
Wait,
Because
you guys would believe anything to get me to buy your stupid product. Jack wagons?
There's got to be some meeting where it's like, okay, so we got a memo from corporate. It says that, the latest poll says that hitting people with rocks is 17.5% more effective than, it's,
Rocks have a great Q rating this quarter.
yeah, exactly.
Way up.
Yeah, we're checking out the hashtag on Google Trends. We found that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I just don't overthink it. Yeah, I don't overthink it. And I just look at the camera and I'm like, that's a real person over there. Might be a million of them, but it's going to be one real person that I'm talking to for this thing. I don't know. That bothers me when ads do that. Can't stand it.
Yeah, I don't like ads that use my pride or the pride they imagine I have to get to me. Do you remember the Toyota Highlander ads
No.
from like 10 years ago?
No.
It was an attractive 30-something mom, and there are other moms driving their less attractive vehicles, and they're a little less attractive themselves, frankly.
In the ad.
Oh, yeah. And the coolest kid, his mom drives a Highlander.
Oh.
And so the other moms who could maybe spend a little more time in the gym, they pull up in their kind of dumpy-butted full diaper vehicles, like a Buick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about when I say the full diaper?
Yeah,
Like, since
absolutely. Yeah.
like every car looks the same, like a big fat butted car. And so like these, 2 or 3 moms pull up and the less cool kids have to get in that car. But the Toyota Highlander mom, hot! The car, hot! The kid is the most attractive. He's got the jacket. He's cool. And he gets in there and the whole thing is like, which mom do you want to be? Do you want your kid to be proud to ride with you? Or do you want your kid to be ashamed to ride with you like these kids here? If you buy a Buick Enclave, I can guarantee you this, ma'am. Not only will you put on weight, but your kid, even though they'll never admit it, is ashamed of you. And it's an emotional distance between the two of you that will grow over time and that you will feel when someday they put you in a home.
So an appeal to status is what you're saying.
Yeah. It was just so unapologetically arrogant. You know what's a pretty nice SUV is a Toyota Highlander. I'm never getting a Toyota Highlander. That ad divorced me from that particular vehicle on principle. Have you ever had one do that for you?
Yes. I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, dang it.
I'll tell you off mics.
Okay, I'm listening.
I don't know. It's just unacceptable.
Yeah. Yeah, it had that effect on me.
You see why I didn't want to say anything there.
Oh, I do see. Yeah, and I think that's completely reasonable. I don't think every opinion needs to be said into a microphone and
put on
shared
the
with
internet.
the internet. Right. But obviously most of them do.
Yeah, exactly. What's your favorite mustard?
How else? How else are we going to have jobs? French's mustard. Your sister won that contest and got
Exactly.
paid.
Sweepstakes.
Love French's. That's the best.
It's the best.
I don't know for sure. If you gave me a blind taste test of mustards, I wouldn't even have.
Yeah, it's really hard for me to think of one that I'm willing to talk about. Do you have any others?
I do. Justin Long Mac Guy ads
What
in
is
the
that?
early 2000s. White background, little kind of plinky music like they did in ads back then. Blunk, blunk, blunk,
Oh,
blunk,
and you had the
blunk,
Mac and the
blunk,
PC?
blunk. Yeah, they were cute, but every now and then I'd watch 2 or 3
So
of
the
those
PC
ads.
was the nerdy guy,
Yeah, he's an idiot, a bumbling boob.
and the Mac was the hip guy.
Yeah, from Dodgeball.
Yeah. Okay.
He can't dodge a wrench or a ball.
Okay.
And they come out, and several of those were just really cute, like fun writing, good rapport. And the ones where Justin Long would be like, "It's all right, PC guy," and it seemed like he was genuinely like trying to help PC guy. I was like, that's not pretentious at all. That's actually kind of gracious, and I sort of like the dynamic. But then, like every third or fourth one, it was just
Superiority.
yes. And at a time when I was vulnerable to being a Mac guy instead of a PC guy, like I was kind of like, I'd go either way on this. Those ads were just so disrespectful of your elders and so smug and pretentious and superior. And I was like, dang, I like genuinely, the product seems pretty cool and I like the vibe of it, but I could turn out to be smug and pretentious and superior. Sometimes I don't come off well, and I can't lean into that.
Oh, you're saying the
Like-
ad had a negative effect on you
A
because
hugely negative effect.
interesting.
Because I saw in Justin Long, not Justin Long, but in the character,
Yes.
I saw temptations toward personality flaws and pride that I see in myself. And I wanted to run the other way from that. Like, if this brand means I'm a little more with it and I know a little better than you do, I better not flirt with that right now. I felt a particular vulnerability to being that guy at that point in my life. And maybe that vulnerability is still there. But I saw personality traits I felt like I needed to run the other way from. And that was the moment where I kind of made my brand decision all the way to this day in terms of what kind of technology I use. I still use a PC.
Dude, you just made me realize that we passed an entire generation of ads. And I'm only just now able to articulate this. But for example, in the 90s, early 2000s, there was this type of ad that centered around a character. So it wasn't, it was a combination of branding and marketing.
What do you see as the difference between the two? Just so I'm tracking.
So branding is, oh God, what is the difference?
So when we've talked about it before, we've talked about branding being a term derived from cattle. It's a mark to distinguish between two otherwise indistinguishable things. So you got a loaf of bread and a loaf of bread. This one says Store Town on it. This one over here has googly eyes and a bread with gloves and boots.
So a brand
that
is an
dances
umbrella
around.
that you put all your things under. So I'm looking behind you. I'm seeing a brand, a carousel. That's a Kodak projector from the 70s, and that's Kodak film over there. And they had Kodak, all that kind of stuff. And so that was the brand, the overall brand, and all these different products lived under it.
Yeah, and a good brand should have one word that comes to mind. So if I say Kodak, the adjective is, the noun is, the word is.
Film.
I would say memories, but I think both of those are great.
Okay.
Right? If I say Disney, the word is,
Stories.
or magic.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're on
Yeah.
we're on the same page.
So you had brands that were associating themselves, but they would lean in to marketing with an iconic character.
For example,
Energizer Bunny.
oh, the Noid.
The Noid from Domino's. Exactly.
The Make 7 Up Yours guy.
Yeah.
I really liked Make 7 Up.
That's not really a thing
Yours.
anymore, is it? I think
They got the Dr. Pepper, the little Prince knockoff. Like the like
it's not
little
really
pepper.
but-
It's
but
not
they're-
working.
They're all like anthropomorphic. They're all people. Like you had these characters. The only thing that's even close to it is the Geico lizard. That's the
sure.
the Aflac duck.
Yeah,
Those still exist, right?
but they've been around for a really long time.
They have. So we haven't seen the rise of something like that in a long time.
Oh,
remember-
interesting.
You remember the Taco Bell dog?
the Chihuahua? You can't talk about
Yeah. So you had these characters
Spuds McKenzie.
that were associated with these ads, and we don't really have those as much anymore. Well, I mean, our media is more splintered now, but
And I'm trying really hard to prove you wrong. I'm sure there are some counterexamples, but if they're not so iconic as to immediately come to mind,
Pizza, the Little Caesars guy.
yeah, I mean, yeah, but that dates all the way back to
Yeah.
way back when the cartoonization of Colonel Sanders a little bit, but again, that's a 50, 60-year-old brand.
Why doesn't
the Trix Bunny, all the breakfast cereals, they all have,
Yes, they do.
that kind of
Count
thing?
Chocula, yeah.
but all of that's super old school too. Like, when's the last time a new cereal brand came online, stuck, had a new cartoon character? Like, all the cereal you can buy at the store and all those characters are decades and decades old at this point.
Man, this is
The brand
interesting.
space might be full.
You think?
I don't know. I do wonder about the Bare Naked Ladies song, It's All Been Done. You know the band, right? The Canadian,
Yeah.
If I Had $1 Million, that
Yep.
band.
Yeah.
That song, It's All Been Done. And I think It's All Been Done thing is a very interesting social pressure we don't think about very much right now, but it's huge. You look at the humor of Gen X. I'm Gen X, and I think it's funny. It's ironic. There's some sarcasm. A lot of different elements from a lot of different eras of humor come together in Gen X humor. Millennial humor is a little darker and very funny. Irony is important. It works. Sexual humor was more prominent with millennial humor. Gen Z humor is, I have a can of beans, the beans fall over. Like it's just complete
What?
nihilistic, random.
You being
new
serious?
Yeah, the new Coca-Cola ads for Coke Zero are meant to try and piggyback on kind of Gen Z internet humor. I have to try it first. It's
I haven't
just,
seen this ad. Where is this ad?
oh, they run it in theaters and stuff. I mean, nobody watches TV anymore, so I don't know if it's on TV. But
Maybe it's too costly to build a monolithic character story.
okay, so there's two theories here. You're throwing this out. Maybe it's too expensive, but theory number two, maybe also a lot of the creative real estate already got used up before people under 25 right now got to an age of creative maturity where they were ready to make things. And maybe some of the nihilism of the humor that we're seeing from the Gen Z creative crowd, it's a little bit of a nihilistic expression of, dang, when we got here, like everybody had already thought of all the combinations of notes for a melody. Everybody had already thought of that joke. Like there are 15 obvious jokes about a fart. You already got them all. Like, Grandpa, you already thought of all of them. You already thought of all of the car jokes. Like, you already thought of all of the hat jokes. Like all the obvious stuff is taken. Who's on first was already done. And I think those social pressures, because when you're young, you want to find your own real estate, your own creativity, your own brand, your own words and ideas and shared stories. And I really feel for the up and coming generations right now, because in the age of the internet, everybody thought of everything and already put it on the internet. And now it feels probably really frustrating to be 16 years old, have a great sense of humor, and to feel like it's hard to be creative because all the things that I genuinely think of, somebody already thought of in 50 different iterations, and they've already got billions of views on the internet, and the joke's already been done. And so it kind of pressures you toward a new brand of humor that takes into account that there's not much real estate left. Maybe the same thing applies to branding. Maybe like all the obvious ways to sell a bowl of cereal already got thought of.
If you had to sell cereal right now and you were a marketing advertiser, what would you do?
Oh, no.
Okay.
That's a great question.
Let me just do this. All right, Matt.
Okay.
Welcome to, what are we naming our brand? We just need something to operate with it in the thought experiment.
It's cereal? Monkey Clumps. Let's go with Monkey Clumps brand cereal. Moms love it. You got a little
Dude, you're done.
you got a little monkey, he's got a hat.
You win. You sold me. I'm gonna buy monkey clumps. Did you just make that up?
No, I cracked that joke a long time ago. I have no idea where it comes from.
But it hit
My
when you
mom
cracked
made
it.
my mom made a thing called monkey rolls. And they're these little like cinnamon rolls. They're all just the middle of cinnamon rolls. And I insisted on calling them monkey clumps when I was a kid, and she kind of hated it, but it sort of stuck. So that's how that happened. It's monkey clumps.
You did great.
Thanks.
I'm gonna buy the cereal.
Okay.
You don't have to do anything else.
Okay, that's all
you
I
just
had.
put the name on it and it does the work. Wow.
Okay, but what does that say? Like, would you actually buy monkey clumps if you saw that?
Heck yeah. I'm
So-
buying monkey clumps, dude. Excuse me, would you like Raisin Bran or monkey clumps?
I want monkey clumps with raisins.
Whoa. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, well, that's not even close.
Golly.
Are you in Muslix or monkey clumps?
Muslix is pretty good.
Look at the name.
Wow.
But why did okay, so let's say, just for the sake of entertainment, let's say that works on you and you're like, no, that is a brand for the moment. Monkey clumps is a thing. I'm buying 2 of these boxes. We're having monkey clumps. Why? Why right now in this moment in history does that seem like it strikes the right chord for you?
I don't take myself too seriously. And I'm looking for fun. You know what? I'll buy this thing right here if it's a little fun. You know? There's a reason. Look, my name is Destin. There's a reason we used Boudreaux's butt paste on my kids instead of Desitin diaper rash cream.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know why? Because Boudreaux's butt paste is a little more fun. And I wrote a song, and I told you that. I sang that
It's
to you.
very singable.
I sang it to you,
Yes,
didn't I?
I recall it resolving with the phrase down there.
Whatever. And so, no, that other place.
The other place. That's what it is.
Place. Yeah, and so I think that would work on me because it's a little fun. Yeah, it's like, hey, we're gonna do this ad thing. We might as well make it fun. And so I think that's kind of the philosophy for what we do here. I think.
Yeah, that's interesting to think about. I was mortified when you were asking me like that we were going to go through the paces of trying to develop an ad or a brand for some product. I don't know how I would sell that to a new audience other than have a laugh. I don't think I have any play other than if I have a very targeted audience, just explain the thing. This thing's good. Haha, there you go. That was cool. Do whatever you will. Other than that, just joke. I've told you before about the Joe Montana Ronnie Lott ad that ended up being for something completely different, like a TV show or something. But the ad starts, it looks like it's some kind of male itching cream ad. And they're out playing golf, these two American football players. And the one's like, Joe, do you ever get that itchy feeling down there? And Joe's like, I sure do. But whenever that happens, I just reach for, and he names what the cream is. And I just apply a little bit to the affected area, and he scoops up just this cupcake size heap of gel and starts to reach for Ronnie Lott. And it cuts away to whatever the ad was actually for. And I was like, oh, take my money. I owe you. It's like a busker. Yeah, you made me stop and listen to your instrument. I'll buy your stupid thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What's your dream brand that you would love to work with?
Ooh. I can't say it right now, but I'm maybe close.
I've been trying to work with a brand.
I know. I knew I'd hear Velcro.
I've been trying to work with this brand for years.
Mm-hmm.
They've gone through several different marketing people. And I've said, every time I send them a message, I was like, hey, I use your dang product every day.
You used it today. I watched you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Several times. Like, I use this thing all the time. I would love to work with you. And for whatever reason, they don't believe me.
What do they say to you? What's the email back look like?
Oh, yeah, let's here's an email. Just let's work.
Let's fill out this form.
Yeah, they don't understand. They don't understand that I authentically love this thing. And I've said, look, I don't know how to say this any other way, but I will sell a quadrillion of your things. I promise.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is I love it, and it genuinely makes people's lives better. And all I have to do is say that and not lie, and it's going to work. And they're like, oh, okay, great. Well, we'll just, check out our, and they always have some kind of meeting or budget or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking, but it's whatever.
I can't believe they haven't taken you up on it.
It's cool.
I'm not joking when I say that a dream brand for me to work with on the 10-minute Bible hour would be a warm water bidet attachment brand. It makes no sense, and I don't care. It's just the kind of thing that I can make a case for and be like, look, I just keep buying these for people because it's just awesome. And I'd like to explain to you right now how this will help. Couldn't run that on everything I do, but I would just love the opportunity or here to sell a warm water bidet to people because this will improve your life. I'm telling you, this changes things. And that's really what it comes down to is thanks to the patrons of the different things that I do, I don't have to vouch for stupid things I think are stupid.
That's the key. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of the safety net, huh?
Jack Conte, when he figured out Patreon, he kind of did an end around the system, didn't he?
He did.
It's huge.
Yeah, people effectively are buying the content they want and bad sponsorship proofing it.
It just changes the equation.
Mm-hmm.
It changes the equation on how you think about things. So thank you to every winged hussar in the third chair. There's a new thing that's happening, and it is, so in a YouTube video, there's two types of ads. There's what's called a dedicated, where the whole content is centered around a product, and then there's...
like in the video proper. You're not talking about the pre-roll ads.
Right.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Or like, hey, I'm going to go to this place, and, we're going to learn about macaroni today, and it's about macaroni. That's just an example. So that would be a dedicated video, and then an integrated would be like you just talk about a thing just a little bit at the end. Like, hey, thanks for watching this. Here's this thing. If you like it, I love it. Please consider it.
Speaking of the medieval process of translating and copying the Old Testament, a warm water bidet will do wonders for your colon. That's not a super tidy integration, but I'll work on it.
Yeah.
I'm workshopping it.
That would absolutely work. So I don't know. I think what's happening is people are thinking to themselves, wait a second, are you really able to tell me about this thing? Are you able to tell me about this thing if there's money involved at all? Because that changes the equation. So, for example, Kodak.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on a video about Kodak film, and I went to Kodak. I went to Rochester, New York. I saw the Holy of Holies. I saw the process, the way it all works. When I reached out through Indie Film Lab down in Montgomery, that's another good example. For example, Indie Film Lab. I love Indie Film Lab. They process my film, right? And we started talking to them about doing a video where they would sponsor Smarter Every Day by giving Smarter Every Day a percentage of however much. And then the more we got to talking about it, we were like, no, I don't want to do this. This feels gross. I don't. They're like, well, I mean, we would love. No, I just love you, and I want people to know about you. I will go talk to somebody else and get somebody else to sponsor it. Just let me come talk about your thing because it's awesome. And they're like, well, so you're saying you want to make a video about us for free to us? I was like, that's exactly what I'm saying.
That's how I felt about Joel and Eric's Muskox project.
Yeah.
I want it to win. I see it coming together. I'm excited about it.
Yeah. But see what happened there? We genuinely are. Look what I'm wearing right now.
And what did I wear in? Like I just
Are
took
you
it
wearing?
off.
Is that a Muskox shirt?
Dude, I have like 4 in my bag.
This is a Muskox shirt.
All of those pullovers that I'm wearing in all my videos.
But what happened?
It's Muskox.
Here's the deal. So that episode
Yes.
we made on No Dumb Questions.
Yes.
We said, hey, this is a brand. We want to understand what it's like to make a brand.
Mm-hmm.
It's like fighting a zombie horde of people saying, well, I feel like this was sponsored content.
I need a disclosure sheet.
Yeah.
Did we edit it out?
I paid for the shirt I'm wearing.
I bent over backwards like 15 times to the point where we got to the edit part. And we were like, Matt, like seriously, you say that's not sponsored like 73 times. It's half the episode. You need to stop saying it.
Yeah, but it wasn't enough.
No, there was no enough.
There was no
I
enough.
mean, there was from most people were great.
Most people
had
were cool,
fun with this all we were doing.
but like people still, were questioning about that. So that leads me to Kodak. I want to go see Kodak because I love it. I'm an engineer and I understand process engineering to some degree. There's legitimate wizardry. They have cauldrons in the basement.
Is it that they called cauldrons?
I don't know what they call them.
Could they be called cauldrons?
They are copper pots.
That's a cauldron.
Yeah.
Say no more.
In the dark. Copper pots in the dark. And they have certain mixtures of things that go, basically magic potions.
So you don't have to say incantation.
Right.
But it wouldn't be inaccurate.
It's amazing. And so we got to thinking about it. I'm like, okay, what level do we want to do this? And we're like, look, we just want to see the thing. We understand you have a brand. We understand you're trying to sell stuff. And we also understand that this is probably going to move the needle for you. We're going to pay for our flight. We don't want anything. We'll talk about something else. Because Trent got me into film. He taught me about shooting with film.
As you've begun to impart to me.
Yeah, I love it. And so I think there has to be this degree of separation that you maintain with the product. And it works like this. You have to be able to say legit what's real. It has to be authentic. And the moment the money starts to get weird and affect your vouch or how you talk about the product, that's the moment you cross the line. I'm seeing that. Like I've seen a couple of people make videos about a product and they're talking about the product as if we're exploring it, but the product is
the whole point of the video. Video wouldn't have happened.
Right.
Otherwise, it's the impetus to use the cable TV 44-minute documentary language. It's the, how do they say it, initiating event.
I don't know what that
I'm
means.
so-and-so, so-and-so. I explore the world looking for outlander items and archaeological mysteries. Recently in Syria, a sandstorm uncovered an ancient temple, exposing a long-hidden treasure. We're on our way to Damascus to find out if... There's your initiating event.
Yeah.
Sandstorm, temple opened up. I just gave you the plot for Midnight Mass, but it works. And so in this case, it seems like what you're saying is if the initiating event of a video is try this dish soap, that's not audience centric. It's not value providing.
No, I guess what I'm saying is, if I'm going to a place and I'm exploring it and I'm getting paid to do it, it changes the dynamic a little bit. I'm thinking about a few people in particular, people I respect and I'm friends with, and I know their integrity, and I know they would not be swayed by that. Just the fact that happened, they would not be swayed by that at all, because I know them as real people, and I know they are above board in everything. They're beyond reproach in my book, and I know them very well. But the audience does not perceive it as that. And so even though the person that's making the content may be above board, true, so there's this other thing that has to happen, and it's the perception that you also have to factor in. You have to factor in not what is real, but also what is, if there's any perception of impropriety, like, oh, you may be influenced by this, even though I know the person's not, then you have to be careful. That's something that has to be factored in. And so there's this pushback I'm seeing lately on internet culture, because everybody can smell an ad. There's this pushback of like, hey, when you went to Kodak, did Kodak give you money? Because you're showing the Kodak brand a lot.
Did they give you several rolls of film?
They did actually give me rolls of film.
Oh,
I know. Exactly.
Boom.
Got him. Yeah, they did actually. They gave me a shirt, and they gave me 3 rolls of TMX 100 or TMX 400 black and white film.
Well, that'll do it.
$20 cash value. We also, but if you do the math, I purchased 20 rolls of film and took that up there, and I shot 20 rolls of film to go in. I don't know. It's
an interesting math equation to have to do, just in general. The whole beauty of the internet content creation thing is it can be audience-centric. It really just can be. I don't need everybody in the world to want goofy deep dive Bible with this tone. I really don't. If there's a handful of people out there who care about the same kind of stuff, are asking some of the same kind of questions, our personalities are compatible enough, and they'll laugh at the same kind of jokes, you might like my thing. Probably not everybody, but that's okay, because it's the internet and we can actually do that. We can specialize a little bit. We can bring our quirk and our strangeness and our oddities, and it's a feature, not a bug. Whereas it would be definitely a bug and not a feature if you're trying to do most of the stuff that happens on the internet on like network TV or something. That stuff feels saccharine and boring and predictable, because all of that stuff's demographic tested to work for everyone. And if something works for everyone, it doesn't really work for anyone. And so the beauty of Smarter Every Day is, you can just act like you. Just do the thing you do. And the people who want to watch that, they're going to be really glad it's there. And it will feel not watered down and not false. It'll feel like it's just the honest truth. This guy likes things, and he's interested, and he's off looking at the things, and make of it what you will. And it feels like the only encroaching threat there, or the only encroaching threats, would be internet mobs who get very mad about fashionable things from week to week, and some sort of financial corruption that makes it so the thing that people came to love no longer feels like the thing they came to love.
I think I can articulate this in an interesting way with a term I've learned recently. It's called value-based marketing.
Okay.
If I can clearly articulate the value that this product will bring to your life, that's really all I have to do. Hey,
yes,
KiwiCo, since we're not sponsored by KiwiCo, but I am on Smarter Every Day, and I reached out to Kiwi, whatever. I'm going to quit trying to couch it. If I can clearly articulate the value that it brings to your life by saying, hey, this is going to make your kid want to build things, I've done everything. I don't have to do anything else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the value. Take it or leave it. Hey, here's the deal. There's this thing called a life vac. You're going to have a thing in your car that if somebody chokes, you can go get it and suck their face until...
You can't. It'll pop right out. You got like beanie weenies stuck in there.
That's why
They'll come
it worked
right out.
on me. The value-based marketing.
Yes. And what I like about value-based marketing, which maybe some people would, I think, incorrectly call the soft sell. I don't think it's that. What I like about value-based marketing is what you're doing is you're putting the real thrust of the whole thing in front of somebody. If you like comic books, but don't have the flexibility or time or space to carry around a printed comic book, you might like this app that digitizes them. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I hadn't really thought about consuming that. I used to like those as a kid, but I'm not going to go buy comic books anymore. Oh, yeah, maybe I'd try that. I'd try that for a month. Let's see. It's just a simple value-based pitch. Here's what you get. And something that you do really well in your videos, in general, not just the ads, is I know what the value proposition is from the title, the thumbnail, and certainly within the first few seconds of the video. Like, here's the value proposition. If you're interested, you'd want to watch the rest of this.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that going on in the video itself.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
If it's not interesting, we're good here.
This is the thesis statement. If you watch this video, this question will be answered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What I don't like is the new thing on YouTube where people drag on the video. You've articulated this in the past. Yeah. So I don't like that at all. So if it's not providing value for me in this moment, then it gets cut out of the video.
Because poop time. That's the way you got to think about it. How often are you alone anymore? Like almost none in a meaningful, whatever I do right now.
You're not joking right now, are you?
I'm not joking.
Okay.
You got to earn the toilet time. If you're making stuff on the internet, that's got to be the thing that the person who has 10 minutes at work where no one is bothering them. And it's just like, this is my time to just sit here and think. Like 30 seconds of that's probably actual work. The rest of this is socially acceptable for me to take a minute. What do people do? Well, they take their phones with them. Everybody takes their phone into the bathroom, and then they're going to, whatever they really, really want at the level of the heart, that's what's coming up during poop time. They're not going to go in there and waste time on obligation. No one's in there. You're pooping. Leave me alone. This is my space. They're going to go and spend that 10 minutes on what they want to. And if your stuff doesn't provide enough value to earn that 10 minutes, it just might not provide enough value.
I was in a classroom with a bunch of kids the other day, and I was trying to articulate how dependent they are on their phones. And there were like 3 adults in the room. And I looked around and I said, not a single one of you know what sodium lauryl sulfate is. And do you know what it is?
I have no idea what sodium is.
Lauryl sulfate.
I got the sulfate part and I got the sodium part.
It's one of the ingredients in shampoo.
Is it really?
You didn't read the shampoo bottles
I read
before
a
cell phones?
lot of things. Like I can tell you what a whole bunch of things in French about like body washes and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, parfum. Hommes. That must mean men.
Yeah, hummus. Yeah, we used to read shampoo bottles
and cereal boxes while I ate breakfast.
Oh man.
I knew
there was
you could have just showed me the nutritional facts blindly from Fruit Loops and honeycomb, and I think I could have told you which was which.
You know what? There was a tremendous marketing opportunity missed pre-cell phones, and that was to write short stories on the back of shampoo bottles.
Oh, dude.
I know.
Wait a minute. You have your phone in the shower?
When you poop, the shampoo's right there on the...
I'm talking about when I shower. That's when I'm reading these bottles.
Oh.
I'm just letting that hot water come down, feel better, read whatever's on the bottle. That's all I got in front of me.
Yeah, I got a little pop socket hanger in the shower, and I can just watch a video. That I can learn things.
Isn't that camera always on?
Oh.
Dude.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a lot of you.
What are we doing? We're
making great internet.
I'm ready
that's
to
compelling.
end this.
Yeah. Everybody who was pooping, they were like, nah, I'm gonna use this on something else.
I wonder
Watch some
what
Veritasium.
Yeah, I wonder what we can do. I don't know. Do you think so? What's the equivalent for poop time for podcasts? Drive time?
Yeah, it's the drive time that competes with the phone call.
Oh yeah,
that's it. I mean, isn't that just the flow chart when you get in the vehicle? You evaluate how much time you have between here and there, how deep you're willing to go. Who would be like the 3 or 4 people I could call right here? What would come up with each of those? That just does not fit. I got to go through a drive-through in 3 minutes. It ain't going to work. But if I go 2.5 speed, I could listen to that entire segment of that podcast or radio program. I'm opting for that. That's what you're competing for.
Yeah. I don't think we're that good.
Nope. But I like that your brain goes to what's our role in this thing, because we both are recipients of ads and we are both producers of advertising. That's okay. Like, in a way, everybody's advertising. Everybody's advertising their personal brand, as we've talked about before. But I am really intrigued by the whole mental exercise of simply thinking about what works on me and what doesn't. And one of the things I will take away from this conversation is I'm pretty clear on what doesn't. Most stuff doesn't. And if something is just morally odious, it really doesn't. There's an ad on my phone where a cartoon lady who's super pregnant is like, I'm going to go to my house. And it's like a game for children to play. And she walks up to her house and she's like, oh no, because her husband's kissing some other lady. And then like the guy sends her away and she has to go to this like burned down house with no windows. And she goes in there with her baby.
This is for children?
And cold air is blowing in and she's holding her baby. And then the words come up, help them. And the finger moves some boards over the window to keep the breeze from coming in. But then the finger screws up the next thing and the cold air is blowing right on the baby. And this is just disgusting, awful, manipulative, improperly targeted crap. I want to punish this brand for that. So I know what doesn't work. Things that create that moral revulsion for me, that doesn't get it done. I think what does get it done is just chill. Just tell me the value proposition. If it makes sense, I'm an adult. If we can have a little bit of fun with it, that might help a little bit. Like I like being made to laugh. That's cool. But I think that's where I'm at in life. Maybe that's a function of age.
Authenticity and making me feel like I'm in on the joke. Those two things work for me.
Oh, yeah.
If I feel like I'm in on the joke, there's a guy, Daniel Thrasher. He does music. He's a YouTuber. He does musical things. And he's really good with his ads. And he'll start like this. He'll say, all right, this is the spot after the spot that happens to be paid for. He starts with that. I'm like, okay,
good.
cool. He's assuming I'm intelligent. He goes, this is a balloon. At the end of this ad, this balloon's going to be a monkey. And he'll start making a balloon. Yeah, exactly. Start making a balloon animal, and he gives me the pitch. And I'm like, is there a monkey? There's a monkey.
Oh, I needed to see the monkey.
I needed to see the monkey. And so, I mean, I think that's fun.
Symmetry and completion works on you then. No, that's what that says.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I am a completionist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting. Huh. The fact that life vac saved that kid is why I have 2 life vacs in my truck right now. Do you have any idea how many life vacs we sold on this, and we're not sponsored by
Or bidets or how many different things. Oh, well, that's part of the fun. No, I thought it'd be a fun thing to talk about. It's just one of those subtle things that, I mean, this is the story we consume the most. I have a thing, I'd like you to consider buying it, is the narrative we consume the most. It's not redemption. It's not the hero's journey. It's none of that. Here's the thing. I'd like you to buy it. That's the number one narrative in our lives. And I just go for huge swaths of time without thinking critically about it at all. So it felt like a good exercise to game it out with you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it.